Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. This is our 100th episode, so we took a couple week hiatus, but we're back. But 100 strong, guys. I'm Marcus Dash here with my brother Teja Dash, and of course, legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow. Fellas, how we doing? A nice little hiatus, this little off-season break. Coming back strong.
Good, man. How you doing? How you all doing?
I'm doing good. I got the new backdrop. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's snowing over here, Eric.
Nice. I like that. I like that look. Might have to get you a blue jersey in there too.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be nice for sure.
Yeah, took 2 weeks off like pro athletes. We're like modern day pro athletes. Take a couple days off and then, a couple weeks off and back at it again.
Is that what they do?
That's what they say they do, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they do.
How long was your off season back in the day, Eric? Before you got back to it again?
A month.
A month? Okay.
Yeah, I took a month off. I may do some cardio here and there, and then you'll start cardio, and probably start cardio, maybe 2 weeks in, because sometimes you just feel like you got to do something. Mm-hmm. And then cardio, and then maybe 30 days, maybe start shooting and lifting and, cardio. Then take it another 30 days. And I didn't play very much basketball until maybe August. July. September. I didn't play much basketball during the off season.
Interesting.
I may play a game or two during the week, but not much.
And when you say you're maybe like playing pickup, like playing 5-on-5.
Pickup basketball. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Like 5-on-5.
Okay. You constitute? Would you? This is a fun question. Did you guys play three? Would you play 3-on-3? Did a lot of NBA players play 3-on-3 in the off season, Eric?
Sometimes you would play it like, say, for instance, you working out with a group of guys, a group of pro, and you only have like 4 to 6 players. You may play something then. You may play 2-on-2, 4, 3-on-3. But most teams played it differently. Like you play different rules, and you play a lot of 1-on-1. You add no more than 2 dribbles, no more than 3 dribbles, no pick and rolls. You can screen off the ball, but no pick and rolls, so you don't have to switch. Like you just add rules and make it more NBA game-ish versus 2-on-2 or 3-on-3.
Wow.
Or you can always play on one side of the court, like a triangle. You only play like 3, like from one sideline to the opposite line, and then that's out of bounds. If you over there to shorten the court with fewer guys to make it more of a game like.
Did you guys ever play 21?
When I was younger, I never played it older. No, I never did. Other guys did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but once I got older, I never played it. It was probably more shooting games and stuff like that, and a lot of your conditioning is in the shooting. And then I would play. Once I started playing, I would always kind of do things that I did for conditioning. Like I would pick up full court and tell guys, I'm going to pick you up full court. I'm not trying to steal the ball. I'm just running with you so I can get used to doing it. Make sure you always cross half court, no matter what the situation is when you're running down the court. Even if it's a steal, you run across half court, then run back. Just kind of things like that kind of help with the conditioning.
Damn.
That's cool.
Well, I always love hearing the workouts and stuff that you all do
Yeah.
during the offseason. So obviously, been a couple of weeks, so a lot has happened, especially in the last few days. But yes, we're going to get into a move that we made like a week ago, but that we're going to get to at the end of the show. But right now, we're going to start off with the big news of the week and of the offseason. We said that this move had to be made in order for other things to happen, and everything's been on hold. And now maybe we might see some things going here. So obviously, if you have been living under a rock over the last few days, you should know that Damian Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. So my question to you is, this is the big thing is obviously with Giannis and Dame being together in Milwaukee. How does this change the landscape of the Eastern Conference? And does this even put more pressure on Morey to get a deal done, to do something to improve the team this offseason?
I mean, I would say it puts more pressure on Morey and the Sixers, because whereas you kind of thought most people that view and follow the league was probably leaning Boston as the team to beat going into the season. Whereas now, not to say people have left that boat, but some probably put Milwaukee right there, even though Miami is the team that went to the finals, last year. So no matter what Miami does, people still seem not to really consider them a top 3 team in the East every season.
I know.
But you can't forget about them. I mean, they find a way. Like, you can't forget about them. And then you have us and Cavaliers. But I think that what that move does is it kind of puts the clock on Philly to stay at that level. And I think with James, as far as talent standpoint, I think the Sixers can play at that level and beat those teams. As we can see, they had a 3-2 lead against Boston. But just having the James situation there kind of muddies the water a little bit. Like, you don't really know how it can go. It gives you less confidence that it can work. So I think you need some kind of clarity moving forward. And I do not believe that James will ever come out and say, I'm here, I'll take everything back and I'm ready to move forward. Like, I just don't think he's going back on that. And if that's the case, then the clarity and how things can go is still a little cloudy.
You don't think Dame tried backpedaling? You don't think Harden can try that?
Well, I think Dame backpedaled because maybe it was the destination of his choice wasn't happening. But I think that Dame was more open to going somewhere else than probably that was advertised. I think he just wanted to have a little more control or say or an opinion on where that destination was. I don't think he just wanted to open it up and send me anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that, a certain destination showed up, then all of a sudden, it changed because because you can get the same thing that he was probably looking for, not probably, the same thing he was looking for, chance to compete for a championship. In Milwaukee, you just get Milwaukee versus Miami as far as the weather. I mean, that's huge difference, but both teams are trying the same objective.
Little difference there in the nightlife and weather.
But, Dame made good money. He can stay there in the summer.
Yeah.
These guys make really good money. They can spend a lot of time in Miami.
As far as Eastern Conference landscape goes, I don't think it changes that much, really. I mean, Bucks have been top 2 favorite for the past 4 to 6 years. So it doesn't make them like a bona fide number 1 favorite. Probably, yeah. I mean, they still have to figure it out. I think it probably would have been worse. Probably would have been worse for us if you went to Miami, right? Because that would have been like another legit contending like top 3 team, and then it would have been like
probably if he went to Miami, most would have looked at Miami as almost everyone would pick Miami to be better than us. Yes.
Yeah. So you would have Milwaukee, who's still good. You would have had Celtics still good, and then Miami finally would have gotten that off-season recognition to be the team to step up.
I agree with that.
So yeah, I guess it probably is better that he stayed with or he went to the Bucks. I guess.
I mean, you Dame went there, but you still took away a crucial piece of what Milwaukee had.
You did, and you took, and no one talks about. I know he's a small potatoes in this deal, but Grayson Allen, who provided them good minutes last year.
I mean, it was good for him, but he's a
replaceable.
Not necessarily easy to replace. It's easy to find a guy that can do what he did.
Yeah,
easier to find that.
But taking away Grayson Allen and taking away Jrue, they lost a lot of guard defense, a lot of it, and you're replacing that with Lillard, who's not known for his defense.
But it's a lot of guard offense, though.
I was going to say, so my question is, do you think they gained more offense or lost more defense?
What I think they gained, and I think the most crucial part of the trade is they no longer have to depend on just Giannis winning games in the end. They got a bona fide guy that can win you games in the fourth quarter and at the end of games
by himself.
He's proven it throughout his career. That's the one thing I think you can't put enough credit on, how big of a difference that is. So if Giannis if he's not making his free throws or he's not doing, maybe he don't have things going, you have a guy that is a winner, a killer.
Can take over.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where Jrue was great, that wasn't really Drue's strength.
No.
Yeah. Middleton, he's done it in flashes. He's been that guy, but not on the level of Dame. You know what I'm saying? So
now you can have Middleton on the floor with either Giannis or Lillard and be the B to the other guy's A at all times, almost.
Yeah. So you have a guy like Middleton that's now all of a sudden he's basically almost playing with one-on-ones.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna double Giannis with those two on the court?
Yeah, that's
you're gonna double Dame with those two on the court?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was the right move at the right time to go a different direction to accomplish what they needed to accomplish. If you look at the last couple of years, whenever Milwaukee has lost in the playoffs and was eliminated, it really came down to guys really not making shots around Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got a guy that we know can score, can make shots. And if they don't get it done, he will get just as much heat as Giannis. Giannis has already won the championship.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe even more.
Yes. Giannis already did it without him.
And he asked out to be put in these situations
in this situation, got to perform.
Close the deal.
Is the expectation is one thing and one thing only. Maybe not winning the championship, but the finals that's the expectation.
Yeah. And maybe even more because Giannis, they kind of did this because they feared Giannis maybe leaving. So
they got to try to
brought him in for you.
Yes.
So
we'll see.
And as far as pressure goes, I think the pressure was already on us before to add talent, especially. But I don't think it's Bucks related now. I think it's still Embiid's window related. I think any pressure we have is to try to win within Embiid's window. If it adds pressure, it's because another team kind of showed you a blueprint. Another franchise showed you that, like Milwaukee in Giannis's case, pleasing your talent. And it also goes to show you that just because you are the year after year favorite doesn't mean you can't try to improve your roster. Milwaukee's seen, I give him credit for this. Even the move for Jrue a few years back, they were already like the number 1 or 2 seed every year for the last couple of years. They did that and it was like, whoa, they're serious about leveling up right now. and they won with Jrue. And then, 2 years later, they're cashing him in for something that can get him even higher on that list. So it's I respect that they don't ever take their level of greatness as their peak. You could always get better. You could always do more. You could always, win more. So that's one thing I think that they're definitely feeling more pressure for is that look what they do. They keep trying to get better players. They keep trying to upgrade. You guys can't seem to get rid of the one guy who doesn't want to be here anymore. So it's I don't think the clock's ticking faster for Embiid and the Sixers. I think it's just ticking a little louder.
I think it's faster. I mean, I think,
you think it's faster?
Because you look at each year, last few years we've done well as a team, but in all those years, Joel's had some significant injuries or injuries that affected him in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get older, unfortunately, that seems more likely that the games will decrease more than increase. So I think I said it last year, our first year we first started the show, that I thought Embiid's window was shorter than everyone else. And I still believe that. And the window for him being a really good player is obviously bigger. I'm saying that the window for the Sixers winning championship in Philly with him playing at that level and the way the team is built, that's a tight window. And plus, we don't know the direction of the team. That makes it even tighter to me.
Yeah.
This time 2 years ago and last year, you had Tobias pegged that his contract was going to be used for sure. But he's still there. You know what I'm saying? And this was but it was no way he would still be a Sixer based on all of the talk and the rumors and everything that we heard.
Yeah.
But he's still there.
Around the trade deadline, he's been in trade rumors every year for the past 3 years.
Yeah. Oh boy. So obviously we talked about Jrue Holiday being moved and former Sixers point guard was our last All-Star before Embiid and Ben Simmons. So I thought that was he was such a badass. But obviously everyone's talking about us potentially going to get him. This could be the perfect guy to get with James Harden wanting out. Maybe do a 3-team deal, send Harden to Clippers. We can get Jrue from Portland. But now I'm seeing Shams yesterday said that going into the weekend, this could be a deal done by media day because both sides want to move fast. Now we're seeing reports now by Kyle Neubeck. Sixers continue to pursue veteran guard Jrue Holiday in talks with the Portland Trail Blazers. Sources told Philly Sports on Friday, but their ability to secure services was viewed as increasingly unlikely based on how the market is unfolding heading into the weekend. So some mixed stuff here last few
which
days.
means there's better offers.
Yeah, that's it. So obviously if we can get a deal done, obviously big if now, it's seeming unlikely. How do you see Jrue potentially fitting in with the 76ers deal? Obviously assuming that Harden is a part of this deal. How would you see Jrue's fit on this team?
I think it would be seamless. Personally, you have a guy that can come in and be the primary defender. He can run your team. He can play off the ball. He great size, good leadership, good locker room guy. I think you put him in position to solidify your group on the, like I said, the defensive presence and team standpoint that can allow Maxey to be more of a aggressive scorer, and Joel to score more aggressively. I think from that standpoint, it really, really helps. I mean, James, I don't think he necessarily can make the plays and average the assists that James did, but that's really not his game. But I think that he could make the plays. I think he can make the plays, and I think he can run the team. He's just not more of a hold it the whole clock and make a play and get that assist, more so to set it up and kind of run the offense. But yeah, I would love to have Jrue. I would take Jrue to fill James if James wants out and we were able to get Jrue, I would be extremely excited about that.
We talked about this months back, right? So I think we just brought up good fits with this team. And Jrue was like the ideal guard to put like next to Maxey.
Never thought it was even like possible.
Yeah, I never thought. Yeah, the Bucks
like they would never send him to Philly. It was more so like Milwaukee wouldn't send him to Philly. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily.
Yes.
He wouldn't come. But yeah,
but he can play point, set up others, play tough defense, guard the other team's best offensive guard. He can rebound, catch, and shoot. He can play pick and roll. He can. He's a good leader. He's a good locker room guy. He's got good size. I know people have been knocking him for analytic reasons. His true shooting isn't great the past few years. His playoff 3-point percentage goes down a bunch lower than his regular season split. The fact that Butler got the best of him, as if like Butler didn't get the best of anyone that was guarding him this year.
I mean, Butler is also a guy that he shouldn't be guarding too.
Yeah, but people, that's why it's even more unfair.
I'm just saying, like when they were playing them, I was saying to myself, like that's the guy he should not be having to guard 1-on-1. Jimmy's what 6'7", like he shouldn't.
At least not all game.
Like not like exclusively.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like there's just no presence. If Jimmy's just going to raise up. There's really nothing Jrue can do. Like I didn't get that. Like I really didn't.
I can make a case for Giannis guarding him as much as Jrue guarded him.
I don't think Giannis. I think that was the hard part about Jimmy was like their best two defenders really shouldn't be guarding him. Middleton was the guy that should have been guarding him, and he couldn't.
He's right in the middle of that size between those two.
Jrue. I mean, Jrue would give a better shot than Giannis. I mean, Giannis is probably a guy you can switch on him, but you can't put Giannis on him. He run Giannis over one pick and roll. That's just a switcher. He's not getting over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as far as fit though, that's who you want, right? He averaged 2 less points than Harden last year, 3 less assists than Harden, and the last 3 seasons he's shot 4 percentage points higher from 3. I think he'd be perfect for this team. The other major questions besides fit I came up with: is Jrue worth completely abandoning the cap space plan for next year? Because if you get him, you forget about all that like max stuff.
I think it is. I think if you can get a guy like that helps you within the next 2 to 3 years, try to give you your best chances to win the championship, I would say yes. And the reason why I say that is because I'm not sold on us being able to get a free agent. Like you hear the rumors of New York's definitely going to get a star player. Like you hear that. You don't hear that about Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. So
that was my next question.
Until it happens, I don't have the confidence that we can go get a major free agent from somewhere else. Until it happens. I don't know where a guy's going to give up. A guy of that status is going to give up money. Most likely where they're coming from, they could get more. Give up that money and come to Philly. Especially with the rumors, quote unquote rumors that Joel could be leaving. Like, who would do that?
You have to overpay him compared to what he might make with his team.
That's what I'm saying. But you overpaying like a guy that's going to get the max where he's at. Like, how? Most of those guys that we're talking about are going to have offers for more where they are.
Yeah.
So that was it has to be a situation like LeBron and Bosh where they're like just going and knowing they're getting less and they're taking less.
Yeah,
knowing they're getting on the back end. I'm not saying LeBron and Bosh status, but I'm just saying like you have to leave giving up money. Who's done that recently? Kevin Durant. But look where he went.
Yeah, that's different too.
Yeah, but who else? Kevin Durant did it again going to Brooklyn. Nobody really does that.
Yeah. I mean, Harden did that with us, but we see where that led.
Yeah, but he didn't come to us as a free agent.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. But he chose the 2-year deal
he
was
chose relationships, and we see where that went.
Yeah, never again. The other question I had is we kind of answered it. Is he better than anyone we could sign next offseason? Is he better than anyone we could trade for? Levine comes to mind. Buddy Hield, I guess, comes to mind because of the situation he's in with not getting.
Yeah, I mean, it's some guys that we can trade for, but
would you rather have Jrue or Levine, Eric?
Levine.
Really?
Because of age?
Yes. The age and moving forward. And Jrue has gone public with the end of his deal. He could retire.
He walked that back, but he did say that. You're right. Yeah.
He did say that. So I didn't hear him walk that back, but he did say, he did say that. So that means a guy is thinking about it could be over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's there. He's thinking about it. Guys change their mind. Some guys you play until you can't play anymore, or you play until you don't get any more offers. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of depends. But a guy like Jrue, if he's not in it, not that I think in fact, I think if he's there, he'll perform. But I just think from a Zach standpoint, you give. I think you extend Joel a couple more years because you have two young studs on the perimeter that can put up good numbers, can really kind of lower the demand per se from Joel.
Yeah. I also thought it was interesting too. Ramona Shelburne said that when she was talking about the possibility of us going after Jrue, she said she knows Philly is like dying for a lead offensive guard, which I thought was really interesting because Drew's a great player. I wouldn't call him an offensive guard, though, if I was describing him. I'd say he's a good all-around player and a good defensive leader.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what you call lead offensive guard because he's a guy that's averaging, 16, 17, 18 points? Like,
19
what do you consider a lead off? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you average? He averaged what?
19 and 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So why, if James is that, why isn't he? And James averaged 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, we just don't view him the same way we view James because James has averaged 29, 30 points.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they're averaging basically the same thing and we're still considering James to be that guy, then why can't Jrue be the same guy if he's averaging basically the same points?
Yeah. My other question was, does signing Jrue make us a contender right next to the Celtics and Bucks? Or are we a level below them? We're right there with them, you think? Are we signing?
Yeah, I would say I don't say that we don't drop off. I think that it's different than James, but I think that what he could give us, we could still compete. We could go to Boston. We can have confidence that we can have someone that can maybe defend Tatum or one of them if they get warm.
At least for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
slow him down.
No, I'm just saying. I just think that I still think that it may be look different, but I still think that we would be on that same level. I wouldn't be shocked that we beat those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I think he would fit based on what Nurse has done in the past, being a strong defensive teams and stuff, and having a longer kind of defensive guards. I think he'd fit right in with the Nurse team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I had a question though. So obviously the other teams that are rumored, the Clippers are rumored to be interested in Jrue Holiday. Boston Celtics are rumored. What would be a worse? And Bulls too, but my question comes down to Clippers and Boston. What would be a worse outcome for the Sixers if the Clippers were to get Jrue Holiday, thus not needing James Harden anymore, or Boston getting Jrue Holiday and having to have him having to play him along with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum?
Boston. I mean,
Even though, like, if he goes to the Clippers, it pretty much ensures that we can't trade Harden, probably, unless someone comes out of nowhere and wants his.
No, I think you can trade Harden. I think you can trade James. I think they can trade James. I think there's some teams that'll take James. It's just about trading James where he wants to go.
Yeah,
I don't think the holdup in trading James has been the other teams. I think it's been what we want in return. Like I said before, we don't value guys in signing them, but we value them in trades.
The way to be.
Yes.
Well, apparently the report is that Heat have no interest in James Harden. Fans have speculated online, what about trading him to the Heat? That apparently the reports was the Heat have no interest in James Harden.
Someone also brought up the Kyle Neubeck today, actually. Someone said, well, what about Portland doing a deal straight up with Philly where they get Harden and then flip Harden for more assets like they're doing with Jrue? And he's like, I think he said they wouldn't find that likely because just Harden's too volatile. They wouldn't think they'd get more assets for him. So that sucks. That he's, created such image for himself as being like a no-nonsense guy that teams are like, I don't even think I can take him and flip him. Like, if he comes here and refuses to – because Jrue doesn't strike me as the kind of player that would just be like, I'm not going. I'm not going to show up. Whereas if Harden doesn't want to go somewhere, he might be like, I'm not going to Portland. Right? So –
yeah. That could be an issue. That's probably why it's a lot more teams that's coming after Jrue right now, and Portland's willing to move him. And I know if I'm Jrue Holiday, I'm like, man, let's make this, see what's out there, and let me get to camp. Let me move my family. Let me get to camp. Let me figure out what I'm going to do, and let's not string this out.
Yeah.
Eric, based on the teams that are interested with the Boston, Clippers, Heat, Sixers, what would be the best fit for Jrue? Not the off-the-court stuff, but what do you think basketball scheme-wise? What team would be the best fit for Jrue to come in right away?
I mean, it kind of depends. It kind of depends on, like, if he's getting moved, who he's getting moved for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you say the Clippers would be great, but, what if they moved one of their two best players? Like, is that really better? I think all teams involved, he actually fits. I think he could fit the mold for Boston with Marcus Smart gone. He definitely fits.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely they would move one of those other guards that they have there. Miami, we all know he fits. Philly, he could fit. We spoke about that, and then the Clippers. So I think he fits in all teams and makes them all better.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how this is going to go.
That's why they're saying there's no shortage of suitors, because I think he's really easy. I think he's so easy to fit anywhere.
And there's no real dispute on if he's getting moved. Like they got him and they're like, we're not going to have you come here for this rebuild, and we just drafted him.
Yeah.
Hard, you know what I'm saying, that we know we have to play. Like, we're not bringing you here for this. Let's just figure out what's going to be the best for you and us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all teams involved are willing to meet them. And I think Jrue is going to be moved for more picks than players. Like, I don't think these teams will have to give up necessarily big pieces to get it done. I think the difference with the Sixers and maybe some of those other teams is the Sixers have to move James to get him. And I don't think Portland would take James. So it had to be a third team. That's what probably makes it less likely. Where some of those other teams, it may not necessarily have to be a third team.
Yeah, they would just send him expiring contracts probably and picks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless the Sixers are moving Tobias also. I don't know.
Unless we tell Portland to wait till Jeremy Grant is trade eligible, and then we'll trade you Harden and Tobias for Jeremy Grant and Jrue Holiday.
No, but there's no way Jrue Holiday is his camp is like, we're going to wait till December. No way.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, I know. Little wink, wink deal. Maury loves those. Little wink, wink. We'll trade you Tobias and a pick for Jeremy Grant in like a month, 2 months from now.
Yeah, we'll see. Be interesting. We'll see.
Well, fingers crossed.
We've heard about your wink, wink deals, Daryl.
They don't exist. He doesn't do that.
Yeah, he had a little citrus in his eye. It was not a wink.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can be home for the holiday with getting Jrue. Okay, so final topic here. So last week we brought in a wing that we talked about, a guy who lasted pretty much this whole offseason, that we were surprised he was still there. I Bleav we talked about him a couple weeks ago about his fit on the team, and we ended up bringing him in. Kelly Oubre Jr., a 1-year deal, a vet min deal. He averaged like 20-something points last year. I mean, the guy's stats were pretty solid. Not such a good team last year, but he produced. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys give this signing as far as a grade wise? What would you guys give this signing?
Letter grade. Great signing. You get a guy that can score on the perimeter, can give you offensive punch off the bench, athletic, and you did it, on the vet minimum. So I think it's a great chance to take on the guy that fits a role that was needed. Yep. So scored well, and I just think, he just played on the team where the team kind of let him go. You know what I'm saying? More so than they just really didn't give him all. Sometimes that's how guys get stuck in the vet minimums. The team that they're with to have their rights don't offer them a contract. So they're really free with no leverage. So I think it was just a leverage play for him. He didn't have very much leverage. That's how, Lakers had, that's how they signed him. I mean, his leverage was gone. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a good signing. I like it a lot. I mean, kind of a guy like him is, we're talking about Jrue Holiday, that kind of fits the mold even better. Having that style of player. But I think it's a good signing, good fit. Hopefully it works out.
Teja, I know you were a big Oubre fan beginning of the when we talked about a list of wings that were available. I remember you kept mentioning him in the beginning of the offseason.
Is Oubre, can I make a case for Oubre being one of the best free agent signings for the Sixers in the last few years?
We gotta let it play out, then maybe you can.
What's the last 20-point scorer we've signed a free agency? That's a good question. How about that?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't even know if Brand was coming off a 20-point season that year.
I think it was like a 14 or 15-point season.
Or it was like 19 and 10. I don't think it was 20. So, man, that's been a long time since we scored. It's the last 20-point scoring free agent we've got. That's a good question, right? Mm-hmm. I give it an A. It's a long wing who can score for vet men. I mean, that's so low risk. It's amazing. He hasn't averaged less than 15 points since 2017. So I know he shot horribly from 3-point last year, I think like 31 and change %. If we can get that up to where he was 2 years ago, like 34, 35-ish. I think he have a really good year scoring off the bench for us. Obviously, he's not going to average 32 minutes a game, or whatever he had last year, something around that. But if he can play some tough D for Nurse and Nurse's playing style, score in bunches in small time windows, I think it'd be maybe even an A+. We'll see how it plays out, but I think it's a great signing for us at this point in the offseason.
Yeah, Keith Pompey of the Inquirer said that sometimes, Eric, and you obviously dealt with this stuff, but like some of these like Philly like journalists and reporters, like they just say things that are just, I don't know, not the nicest things to the team. I know it's not, they're not trying to get medals for being nice guys, but they're saying, there's a reason why you got to be skeptical with this Kelly Oubre signing, because there's a reason why a 20-point scorer was available in early September. It's like you got to be skeptical of the sign. Don't be that bombastic.
You don't have to necessarily be skeptical. But there is a reason why. There's a reason why Charlotte didn't want to bring him back, and that reason why could have not necessarily been him. It could have been. Now they have, Miles Bridges back, and now they had to sign PJ Washington. It could be just something as simple as that, not necessarily anything he did. It was just they just decided to go in a different route where guys they feel are better and more important for the future. So it could be that. So it's reason to to be skeptical about it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be something bad.
Yeah.
It's just, negativity gets more clicks, Marcus. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't make any sense. Like for example, and I think the Pompey's written so many things about how the clock's ticking, Embiid's gonna be gone, just negative stuff over negative stuff, and it's like, well, part of the draw for these reporters and stuff is having big ticket names like Joel Embiid. So as soon as he's gone, you're not gonna get that many clicks anymore because you don't have that big star anymore. So it's like the negativity. I don't know. I'm not a negative guy, Eric. I can't stand seeing
it just depends on this your outlook. Are you a positive or are you more of a negative? Do you look at it as we have Joel and we got to make a move, or if we don't, time's a ticking? Kind of depends on how you look at it.
That's true. You can be putting pressure on management to make a move by saying that kind of stuff in his own way. I was going to ask this earlier as a management question. What would be the reason we wouldn't? Because a lot of fans are saying a lot of negative Philly fans. Go figure. A lot of negative Philly fans have said they think Philly's acting interested in Jrue, but they really don't want him. But they want to seem like they tried so their fans don't get pissed off. What would be a reason why we wouldn't go after him?
I mean, I think the only reason that you would do that is if you can't move James, or maybe they want Maxey instead of James. You just never know what teams are asking for. We're just assuming that it's James.
Mm-hmm.
But if Portland comes and say the only way you're getting Maxey the only way you're getting Holiday is to give us Maxey. We can't make that trade.
No.
Yeah. No.
So, we don't really know everything's involved in the conversation. So I think that could be a reason why it doesn't happen. From what we read, Dame wanted to go to Miami, and Portland was like, you either got to put Jimmy or Bam in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a no starter for Miami.
Yep.
So we don't know.
I think fans are fearing that we're so in love with this 2024 cap space idea that we don't want to compromise that at all.
I think you compromise it if you can get a guy that you feel like you're happy with, that if he was available in next year's cap space that you're happy with him, then you take it.
Mm-hmm. Or I guess we think someone else is going to be available in the next 3 months that we would then push any chip we have left in for Brandon Ingram, Donovan Mitchell. I don't know. I'm just spitballing and throwing names out there of guys who might be available in the next, year or so. But yeah, the grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? You have two seemingly guys available right now between Jrue and LaVine. And I think offensive guard, you're going after one of those guys. The only other guy I could see being available in the near future who fits that would be Donovan Mitchell. But if we don't have the assets to get Jrue, we certainly don't have the assets to get Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess based on the reports yesterday, I guess we'll know where this Jrue situation gets to by the time we meet again next Friday.
Yeah, at least one situation will get figured out. I don't think Harden's will, but
you think Eric is going to get hammered out pretty fast, wherever he goes?
Yes, I believe next week he'll be gone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hopefully it's all right. Hopefully he comes back home.
Can't be short, and the season is a month away. Within the month away, yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah,
he's not going to play around with it, and. Jrue, like you said, Jrue's not young. He's not an old guy, but he's not young. So he's like, let me get to my team. And if it's a new team, I want and need to have a training camp with this team. Yeah. So I think they're pushing the envelope.
Especially if it's us. Nick Nurse trying so many different things in practice. You need to get in there and see all that stuff.
There you go. Oh, man.
And I just seen a report here that apparently Clippers are interested in taking Brogdon from Boston, so doing a trade with Boston. So that would take out the Clippers again, and another scenario where we're not able to trade Harden to the Clippers.
If they take in Brogdon, that means it's a 3-way trade.
If Clipper, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said. Remember, I said if Jrue Holiday goes to Boston, one of those guards that are there will probably be gone.
Yep,
man.
And they already had problems when they already said Brogdon was on the block, and he didn't like that before. So they said it got mended, but yeah,
I can see Brogdon could be good for the Clippers too. That's a good pick for them.
Yeah.
Especially how often he's injured.
They have Russ. They have Russ.
Paul George and Kawhi,
and he can play with Russ because he can play off the ball as well. So that's a good pick up for them.
Yeah,
yeah. As long as him, Kawhi, and Paul George can coordinate their injured games.
Yeah, they'll play 65 or 67 this year.
You think so? Really?
Yes. And if they don't, the injuries are legitimate.
Yeah,
they're not going to just sit out. They're going to have real injuries if they don't play.
That is true. We know that from now on, at least.
Yes.
Yeah. But all right, fellas. So hopefully, I think next week we'll be in Colorado State do a training camp. So I think October 2nd, October 6th is our training camp date. So they're gonna be in Colorado. So yeah, hopefully next Friday we're talking about Jrue maybe polishing off number 11, bringing that back into Philadelphia. So yeah.
Or we're talking about fireworks from camp with Harden.
If he even attends training camp, because apparently it's still up in the air. What
did I hear? The most recent quote was it's going to be Showtime fireworks if he shows up.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Lots of exciting stuff happening. All right, guys. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, fellas.
Take it easy.